So welcome to part 2 of the Triumph 1958 Triumph TR3. We are now in stage 2 of this process. After a brief stay at my friend's shop, I was able to unload the back of the truck and then make some room, sort some things out in terms of space. And now I've got the TR3 in the driveway, and I'm going to start the process of unloading a ton of stuff. So as you can see, and I think you saw in the previous video, the truck was loaded with engine, a spare transmission, a ton of boxes of parts. And then along with it comes another hood, another trunk, bunch of seats, set of wire wheels and tires, a rear differential from a spare, and then a whole frame that has already been painted and cleaned up. So yeah, a lot of stuff, just a tremendous amount of stuff. So storage is tight, but I think I'm going to make it work. So I'm about halfway into the pile here, and you can see just a lot of accumulation. Numerous seats, and these seats are pretty cool. They could be used for a variety of cars. They're kind of like the old pilot seats. And it's got 4 wheels on it. 2 are not holding air. What was really cool is it also came with a rear differential, but a set of knockoff, spin-off, I should say, wire wheels, which originally from the factory were painted silver. So these could be sandblasted or bead blasted and then painted look quite nice. And look at the tread on these. These look like they're factory. I mean, the knobs are not even worn off. They're probably old, but I'll get them to hold some air, and maybe we'll get this car set up on wire wheels. Here's a view from the other side. You can see these tires are just brand new. This one is an old bias ply, so it's kind of a mismatch. But I think among all there's another one underneath there. There's this one. Let's take a look. And then underneath here, oh, I feel wires. Feel wires. Yep. That's a full set of 5. Cooper Sportmaster GLTs. So we got a set of 4 wheels, 5 wheels and tires with this bias ply spare, and then these center hubcap steelies, which are also very cool. All right, so I guess these came in 2 varieties, big mouth and a small mouth. It refers to the size of the grill. I'm not sure what year. And then very cool, little history here. This was at the U.S. Marine Corps base in Quantico, Virginia. So I could already picture the guy or gal that was sporting around in this while serving our country, which is really cool. Then it ended up at the world famous Moultrie swap meet in Car Corral in 2025. So he bought this November of 2025, so really very recently. So either he bought it there or he tried to sell it there and was not successful in selling. Because who would not want all this beauty? I just don't know how people could have not bought all this amazingness. It's got a fuel tank in it. There's a fuel tank in the pile, and then just look at this treasure. Just treasures everywhere. I mean, I'm going to spend a good part of today just enjoying all of this. And another cool feature. This panel comes out, and there is a spare tire well in there. So who knows what's in there? Because you need a special tool, which I have not found yet. And then This is also loaded with grills and trim and chrome pieces and gaskets and what have you. Starter, alternator, just stuff. Here's where you fill your gas, which is very cool. So I'm gonna continue to work on this. I'll show you, I've created a little storage spot for it because believe it or not, there's actually 2 other projects that are in front of this one. I've got the 1980 Scout diesel, which is doing basically full suspension, axles. It's got a very cool 6-cylinder turbo diesel in it with a 5-speed, so very rare. And then if that were not enough, also up on the left, an early 80s Fiat X19 mid-engine roadster that I want to get both of these running and driving first, and then we'll go to the Triumph. So I've been digging around a couple boxes. All the boxes have habitats in them. Somebody liking sunflower seeds and pine cones, that sort of thing. But one thing I love about these barn kind of situations is sorting through all the parts. I mean, here's a complete dash. Now, none of these gauges will ever work. They probably didn't work from the factory, but they're still cool. Glass, chrome, hazard light, panel light, wiper, side marker lights, and then the good old ignition, and then you start it with the good old start button. Lots of little tidbits that are going to be saved very carefully. The part that I don't know what it is, I think it goes along the top of the door. And then more gauges, really cool speedometer and tachometer. Looks like a bell housing cover. 2 free rulers, which is amazing. Say yes to life, say no to drugs. And I can attest to that as a pharmacist. Really disappointed in this. I want my money back. Broken gauge. We've got seat options. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seats. That's a rear seat for somebody with no legs, can sit back there. Some trim. And then, I don't know, about 7 or 8 window screens, all of which are pretty ratty. Don't ever think I'll be using that or the top. So you might ask, how is it that I come across old cars like this cheap? Well, the theme of my adventures and my collection is that I buy something that nobody who is sane would be willing to undertake. And you notice this slight misalignment? I mean, it's hard to see it, but if you look at it just the right angle, you can see that the door doesn't quite line up. That is due to a floor that needs a little work. Just a little smidge of rust on it. And actually, this is a fairly rust-free Triumph. Believe me, they're a lot worse. This is a Southern car. It's been in the South. So what you're seeing here is totally repairable, and it's a frame. It has a frame on it. As you can see, there's another frame that comes with the car. So we're gonna take this body probably in the front half and the second half, the front half and the rear half, and then reconnect them together correctly. Oh, and look who's here. Just in time to help me carry the frame to the back, buddy. You looking forward to it?
Yep.
All righty. All right, and so the unpacking continues. Alex is home. He's gonna help me put this somewhere in the back where nobody can see it. And by nobody, I mean my wife can't see it from the kitchen window. And I'll post more updates soon. All right, we are at a very critical juncture in this process now. I've pretty much unloaded all of the junk out of the car. The trunk is still loaded, but we'll get to that. And now I'm at a point where I've got to get it off the lift. I mean, off the trailer. Problem is, it's pretty steep, but the trailer is currently sloped downhill because of my driveway. So to unload this, I would either need 5 people or some ingenuity. So on the front end, I've got a winch, which I've got all hooked up with a battery and the remote. And then on the back end, the goal of this is I can sort of ease it back, but still control it. Then on the back end, you'll notice another cable. This is something I installed a couple of years ago. There's a pulley there, and then that goes back to the winch here. That I have it set up so that if I'm ever pulling a car into the garage from the driveway, which happens at least 7 times a month because none of my cars run, and if nobody's around, I need to be able to do this by myself. So I hooked up this battery here, and there's a hook for this bay, so I can pull it on this bay, and also this setup here for the second bay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use my trusty remote, and we're going to gently pull it back with this pulley and release it with the other one, because what I want to avoid is a situation that happened a couple times. Runaway car, rolling down off the trailer, and I throw my body underneath the wheels to try to stop it, but get some momentum. That's a pretty steep incline. Now I am concerned that it may hang up on the bottom of the car because not a lot of clearance down there. I've got another wheel and tire I got to get out from underneath, and I'm going to set up the camera, and we'll see how this goes. So we now are at the step in the process where I need to put the trailer away. And you might ask, what is he doing with a four-wheeler at the front of the trailer? So moving a trailer backwards is a lot more accurate, I should say, than trying to pull it forwards, just because you can really adjust exactly where you're going. So several years ago, I welded in this receiver in the front of my very cheap, and it was near scrap metal at the point when I got it. Kawasaki Bayou, I don't even know what year it is, but always starts, always runs, always does a job, four-wheel drive. But this, I found this used to be the roof rack on the Xterra, which no longer has a roof rack because I didn't like it. So what I'm going to do now is navigate this carefully through a very narrow gate into the backyard where I store it. So let's see how that goes. All right, now that we have the trailer put away and sort of everything situated, I got the car in the bay here. Let's take a quick walk around and take a look and see what we got. Some hidden, what we haven't started yet. Ooh, that needs a little oil onto it. So I don't know much about these Triumphs, but I've been reading up on them. Definitely, this looks to me, all the bolts are out. If this car was disassembled, somebody had a real dream and they realized that it was either over their head or too far gone or whatever term you want to use. But one thing that I truly believe is no car is too far gone. You can always do something with it. We're here for dual carbs, of which I think I have 6 or 7 of them in the back in the shed, already in storage. It's got the semblance of an ignition system with 2 coils, one here, one there. So that was somebody trying to get it going. I am not confident that this engine is even salvageable because there's no crank pulley on it or anything, but we're going to figure that out. I think one of the first steps in this is going to just to assess what the situation is with this engine. Does it turn freely? Is it locked up? Does it have oil in it? You know, and if it turns, and I'll check with the bore scope, look in the cylinders. If it looks like it's, you know, runnable, we may clean up some carburetors and put some pulleys on it and see if we can't fire this up. But you can see there's basically no wiring in it. Battery tray has been replaced or repaired. It's got a pretty complicated looking braking system with a can of death. Old generator. I don't even know if this is 6 volt or 12 volt. I'm gonna have to research that. By the size of that battery tray, I'm guessing 6 volt, but we'll make that determination. I'm gonna probably buy or find online some good resources, references. This to me looks like the, yep, I think that's the windshield wiper motor, which operates this. Couple little things I picked up. So I mentioned before, this was at the Moultrie Automotive Swap Meet, which is definitely a place I want to go. I've never been there. It's in South Georgia, and there's probably thousands of situations like cars like this for sale there. The other thing I noticed walking around, I didn't notice this before, but it does have a Massachusetts bicentennial year Spirit of 76 fall inspection. Does not say, I assume this was 1976 that was inspected. There's an old phone number on here too that I may call and just see what I can learn from them. An old service sticker, and I'm looking for the VIN tag, which I thought would be here, but it's not there. So really the goal here for the next period of time is to connect that part with this part so that this part opens and closes correctly, and that's going to involve some cutting and welding. It did come with new floor pans, you know, steel floor pans, and it also came with 2 tunnels for the over the transmission. I mean, everything I need is somewhere in a pile, and I'm going to go through that pile. But you know, the dash I showed you earlier, I didn't see a glove box, but it's probably in one of the boxes that I haven't opened yet. And so really, it's going to be make sure that the tires hold air, because I hate flat tires, and probably do a little bit of engine diagnostic, and then I may park it for a little while, but once I get this Scout back on 4 wheels and moving around again, I may alternate between the Scout, the Fiat, the Triumph, and then there's actually a Beetle as well as a Corvair that are in the middle phases of being done. And I do like to work on 3 projects or 4 projects at a time, sort of alternating in between. So let's see what's inside the trunk now. All right, I do know that the trunk has a lot of goodies in it. because we loaded it up when we came here, or when we went and picked it up. So first thing off is the part of the grill. Some very old, an old oil pan gasket. I need that. Looks to me like a Chevy. This is a Chevy. I can spot that from well away. Small block Chevy gasket set. I'll save that. Not one, but two grills. And they're actually not too bad. They can be cleaned up. What's really cool about this car is it actually has provision for a hand crank. So you can start it by crank, and there's actually two hand cranks in the parts pin in the back. All right, this is a spare tire panel, which goes there, different color. Ton of sheet metal and trim. I'm really looking for the special little key for the hood and the trunk bumpers, breadths I should say, more hinges, which I'm going to need. Just an assortment of parts, new bushings, look like Mercedes-Benz lug nuts. Just a ton of stuff. And all that I need to go through so that I have a sort of a distant memory of what I have and what I don't have. And what'll happen is I'll get to a certain part of the project and I'm like, wait a minute, I know I have one of those. The trunk floor is actually pretty darn solid, which I'm very happy about. And I'm seeing a lot of doodads in here, but I'm not finding that key. And it might be in one of the other. There's 10 boxes of stuff beyond here. So that's the trunk. Pretty pleased with that. Not too rusty. Next one, it closes nice. It's a nice little unit. Okay, we're out back now where I have my little stockpile of stuff. So back here, built this garage a couple years ago to park my 55 Mercury, which I restored about 6 years ago. Whole other story on that. But what I created here was my Triumph hoard of parts. So transmission, spare transmission, the car has one. Another engine, which he claimed was rebuilt, but unfortunately it's sat in the elements, and so it's pretty rusty. I'm gonna tear into it and see if that can be salvaged. A spare hood, a spare nose, which is, I think, just adorable. I mean, I think with a grill and a trim ring, that would be a great wall hanger, but I'm gonna keep it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wire wheeled tire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. And then I got 2 trailer tires back there. Here's the floor pans. They look a little surface rust, but they're actually brand new. This whole box is just full of stuff. Then we've got a steering column. We've got interior parts, the grill that I just showed you, the door cards, 2 radiators, got the head, a water pump, a whole box of parts there. We got springs. I know it's not that very good lighting. Buckets and buckets of parts. Exhaust manifold. The cover for the transmission tunnel. Valve covers. Carburetors. More carburetors. Another box of carburetors. A bunch of parts I haven't even looked at yet. 2 luggage racks for the rear. 2 windshields. All the seats that we showed you earlier. So there is no shortage of partage. And having it all organized here nice where I can get to everything will make it a lot easier later on. I noticed that a lot of times hoarders like me get in over their head because they can't find anything and they get really unorganized. But I found that if I'm going to be a hoarder, I'm at least going to be an organized hoarder. So that when I need something, I know kind of where it is. So put these shelves up the other day and got ready for the delivery. So I think so far the Triumph bringing it home, getting it set up in the shop has been a good couple days, and I'll keep you posted on that next steps.